All right, the recording has started. So today is Thursday, September 28, 2023. And you guys, we're here with Chris again, and we're happy to be here. And I see you guys are lining up in the queue already to hit *6 to ask your question, but we're not there yet. So, Chris, thank you very much for being here again. And you actually have something to say today.
Yeah,
tell us about
quite a few things to say. First of all, today's the 28th of September. It was a year ago tonight that me and my daughters went to see probably one of the most awesome bands of the decade, Greta Van Fleet. If you guys like Led Zeppelin, you'd really like Greta Van Fleet. That's all I'm going to say about that. It was an awesome show, man. I'm in central Iowa right now. My aunt passed away, and her and my uncle had a substantially large farm that they were leasing out because of their old age. They living in town. Leased out the farmland. They got a son who's been battling meth addictions for almost 2 decades now.
Dang.
So I helped my aunt and uncle save the farm. Well, it's my aunt and uncle's farm, but my uncle's been passed, 3 or 4 years now. And my aunt left. Now she's the last remaining matriarch of the Hauser clan. And so I helped her keep the farm, and she's made me the executor of the estate and created a trust for her son. But he has to get drug-free and stay drug-free for 3 years before I can actually turn the trust back over to him. Until then, he's going to be getting a very moderate amount. So I'm sitting here in their home right now and getting their stuff straight. It's been crazy doing funeral plans, and I come from a really large family. My grandparents on my dad's side had 58 grandchildren. For people who hated their spouses, they sure spent a lot of time freaking procreating. So here I am straightening this out. And it's been crazy. My phone's been blowing up. I've also been working with the NOI, the Nation of Islam, and my prison friends. They're having their feast tomorrow, and I've been coordinating between the inmates and the leader of the local Nation of Islam, getting their food and everything together for this big feast. So I hope that goes well tomorrow too. They eat bean pie. That's the dessert for the Nation of Islam. That's the big dessert because the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, who started it, liked bean pie. So NOI people love bean pie. I was kind of looking forward to that, but here I am. Let's see. I'm doing okay. My health's great. I'm maintaining. I'm losing about 1 pound a week. I'm losing it slowly, but I'm losing it nonetheless. Doing a lot of work with the DAV, getting ready to go at the end of next month to the winter convention. But that's it for that. I'm sure you all know by now that there's been a few videos posted, and one of them was explaining one of them was cutting down the tree. I did that more or less to let everybody know that I'm not in prison. People that are in prison don't run around with power saws. And then I did, a couple of them there explaining the ruling And then I did the document that was created as a demand for dismissal. And there's been a lot of great feedback on that, and people that don't have it, they can't comprehend what it is that we've actually done, who think that, oh, well, you grant them jurisdiction. No, it's a demand letter. We're not asking you to do anything, overturn. We're not asking you to do shit. What we're demanding is that you straighten this out. Now, to be clear about this, y'all, kind of like my ex-wife, she thought she was being vengeful. I'll go down there and I'll testify against him. I'll get even with him. And then she files bankruptcy. Usually when evil's being worked against you, the Most High will turn it around. He will turn it around. He thwarts the plans of evildoers and the evil ones. He does that, especially with me. And I say that because it's me. I try to do a lot of things, and I ask the Most High for the understanding and the knowledge to do what I do, and I always ask, is this good with you, Master? Should I do this, Master? And my prayers get answered audibly, folks. In most cases, it's audible. I actually hear the directions, hear the directions and the guidance. How do I do this? Yes or no? Whenever you can. No hurry, it's your time. So that backfired. Now, this attorney that Emma Tennant that was arguing, she argued a lot. She did a good job. She really did. I think she did the best she could with what she had. But here lately, she's been bullshitting around. I wanted okay, you're not on this no more? Give me everything you got. Ron's usurping attorney did the same thing for him, gave him everything. That's how we knew that they had the contract. They had the underlying security agreement. That's how we knew they had the UCC3s. Not just because they could have got them through the Secretary of the State's office, but they got them through the people, through the government, the federal government. That's probably what little bit of involvement the FBI had into this. So, during the trial, the judge knew that what the UCC ones were. They're a financing statement. That's all they are. They're a notice. They're a notice of claim of lien. And that's why we had to do the UCC3s, because the UCC3 was an assignment. It's an assignment agreement, folks. We assigned it to the Treasury, so they knew. They knew that there was a contract with the Treasury, and they knew that there was a contract, that we had contracts with each individual. And I've been hounding Tim Burchett on X or old Twitter. And every time he posts something, I'm telling him, I hope you like ramen and noodles, and you're not gonna have to worry about what color your suit is. It's gonna be orange. It's aggravated perjury is what my wife should be charged with. Ex-wife should be charged with aggravated perjury, along with everyone else that said there wasn't a contract when there was. That's in the dismissal, the demand for dismissal. I racked my brain over that document, y'all. And one thing that I realized, here's where the money's at, folks. Listen real closely. And because I'm going to explain to you this the easiest way that I can. And this is what I'm talking about, Tad. When Blackburn gave the instructions to the jury, she told them that she actually put it on the jury to make this decision, but she leaned them in that way. She said, you're going to have to decide whether or not this is a forgery or not. You're going to have to decide whether or not these liens were they were filed in Davidson County. And even after they told time and time again, these aren't liens, these aren't liens, these aren't liens, these aren't liens. They call them lien, all the way through the Supreme Court. I mean, even the decision that the Supreme Court came out with said that they were liens. Kept calling them liens. So she gives the instructions to the jury, and she says, you're going to have to decide if these men filed false liens in Davidson County. You're going to have to decide if they're forgery. And if they're a forgery, you're going to have to fix an amount onto these liens. Okay? Well, through the whole trial, out of the 102 UCC1s, she had the stack of them up on her desk, up on the bench. She had 102 manila envelopes, and each one of those UCC1s went into a separate manila envelope. And on there, she wrote the UCC1 document number. She wrote who was involved with it, which defendant and which which person was there that was liened or filed, the UCC filing was on, and then the amount. So she put the amount, $4 million, $3 million, $12 million, on every one of these manila envelopes. So she had already decided what those UCC1s were worth by putting the amount on them. And then she turns around at the end of the trial when she's doing jury instructions, and then she says, you're going to have to decide whether or not, or you're going to have to decide what the amount is that's fixed on the UCC1. Okay? So, and if anybody's watched those, I know there's 6 of them there. I understand it, and they're all about a half hour long. But look, y'all, if you really want to understand what it was that our demand's talking about, go back and watch them, all 6. And in 4, I explain this. In part 4, I explain this. When that jury came back and they said, these men are found guilty of all the charges. And what they meant was, they said we're guilty of filing fraudulent liens in Davidson County, and that they're forgeries, and that they have a monetary value. Okay? They said every one of these liens that we filed was for $12 million or $3 million, or over $250,000. That's a Class A felony forgery. So what did they do? Then they take this into the appellate court, and the appellate court agrees with the petty court. And then it goes to the Supreme Court. And the Supreme Court, a majority of the Supreme Court, found in favor of the petty court. Oh, the Court of Criminal Appeals didn't err. The petty court, Blackburn's petty court, didn't err. There were no errors. What is that? That's case law, y'all. Now, think about it this way. If we were hit with forgery charges, right, and we fraudulently filed these, say we did what they said, and we filed these, and they're worth over $250 each. Well, they're worth what the description is, according to the Tennessee Supreme Court. Before all this happened, folks, and this is nationwide, my friends, before all this happened, a UCC1 had no value. It was a non-negotiable instrument. But as of Tennessee Supreme Court's ruling, they are now negotiable instruments. Okay? So now, think about this. We were one of the very few people that's ever filed, according to them, filed fraudulent liens in Tennessee. Right? So what does that mean? That means the majority of the liens, or the UCC ones that are filed, the used to be non-negotiable instruments, are now negotiable instruments. So, say I go to my local bank down here, Newport Federal, and I go in there and I say, I want to borrow $70,000 to go buy this, go down here to Stennett Chevrolet. I want to buy this Hellcat. Can I have a loan? Well, sure, Mr. Hauser. Yeah, you can have a loan. Well, I go down there and buy it. But what happens to the title till I pay it off? To put a lien on it. Now, what the bank can do is take the money from me, take the money from my trust at the same time, and then make a negotiable instrument out of the lien they created on the loan that they gave me. And guess what? It's not an illegal or unlawful like Tennessee said we did. They said they were liens without legal basis. If I go to the bank and get a loan and the bank puts a lien on it, they have legal basis. So what's the argument for that? What's the argument for lawful or legal liens? They can now be turned around and be treated like a negotiable instrument. Like I said in the videos, Tad, you can lien me for $20 million, bro, and I will not dispute it at all.
Well, I'm online right now filing it.
Fantastic. Remember to give me a cut, though, okay? Because what do I care if you lien me? And see, if I don't dispute it, like Tennessee is, like the law, that the Tennessee Code Annotated law that was created based on what it was that me and my friends did, where they can dispute them now. I can lien you, and you can say, I don't owe any money. You can dispute it and have it removed until we litigate it and I prove it. But think about that. If we're not doing that, if I'm not disputing it, it's a lawful lien. According to the Tennessee Supreme Court. You could go into the bank with it and say, look, I got this $20 million lien that I put on Christopher Hauser here in your county. And according to this case, and use our case, the state of Tennessee versus Ronald James Lyons, right? Write the case down. Say, according to this case, this UCC1 is a negotiable instrument now. And if the judge is saying that the UCC1 financing statement is the lien, then the UCC3s and the underlying security agreement, or the conditional acceptance that's in D.C. isn't the lien. You see what I'm saying? Yeah, I hope y'all get that. That because of what the state of Tennessee has done in our case, they're saying that the Treasury is holding illegal liens, which means the Tennessee can turn around now and take the UCC ones that we filed that they're saying are fraudulent. They can now turn around and file them themselves. Now, y'all, we had, together with all of us, we had almost $2 billion in lien securities that Tennessee can now turn around and file themselves.
And they probably have.
Yeah. Well, that's what I said in the demand for dismissal. I also accused all these judges of doing exactly what they said we did. Now you're filing these things in books of records. You guys, what you did by your own admission or your own opinion is file fraudulent liens. You forged. Because to enter it in a book of record, to enter anything into a book of record is a forgery now, folks. If you remember, if you guys have followed this, you'll see that. You'll see that the state is doing to us what they claim we did. They are now doing it to us. Yeah, this changes things big. And that's what Emma was saying in the argument. She said, look, man, if you guys do this, you're going to change the way these UCC1s are used for. They're vague. They're completely vague. But you guys are going to specify things in here that shouldn't be specified. These things were created to simplify, not complicate. And to take them for anything more than a notice is to complicate them. Yeah. I've been trying to get her to send me the stuff I requested, and she sent me a message, finally sent me after almost 20 days. Her saying, I'll get you that stuff. I'll go to an office and I'll get all that for you. 20 days later, she's sending me a text message going, I've been fighting pneumonia. I've been under the weather, and I'll get you that stuff as soon as I get to the office on Monday. Oh, and by the way, what's up with this demand for dismissal? You know what I mean? So they got it. And they've made her aware of it already. And we sent that demand letter 2 weeks ago. And they're already getting to her. So that tells me that they're actually reading it. And they're starting to go, oh, shit. What did we do? And so I'll get off of that and we'll get into this. The banking thing. They've been, as far as I'm concerned, they've been bullshitting around about it. It's every time I've mentioned it, they shuck and jive. But the tax court case, that's been put back on the docket. I got a call a few weeks ago, and they said, hey, Mr. Hauser, we want to put this case back on the docket. We want you to hear. We want to hear it. We want you to come in because we want to hear it. So this judge that granted the summary judgment to the IRS is taken off the case, and it's given to another tax court administrator. Now they said that I'm trying to hit this from two angles. I still left the door open for the Treasury to come through on their side, and I'm hoping that they do that because that could be quicker. The tax court saying that you can only get heard once a year in Knoxville at the court in Knoxville. And I've been talking to them and going, look, I haven't been heard. This was a summary judgment. So I haven't been heard. All you did was listen to the IRS. They're the ones asking for the summary judgment. I'm asking to be heard. And the last time I called them, about a week ago, I think it was. I called Washington, D.C., the tax court in Washington, D.C., and I said, what do I got to do to get this ball rolling? Well, they only listen to you once in Knoxville. I said, well, how about taking me somewhere else then? I mean, we got a federal court in Greenville, How about Nashville? How about, get me somewhere else? Because I haven't been heard, And the docket clerk said she's going to talk to the judge that requested my case be put back on the docket and see if they can't get me scheduled for something earlier. But that could still be, some time away, months away. So I'm hoping, and y'all keep your fingers crossed.
So,
and
can you tell us the importance of this tax court case again?
Well, right now, this all has to do with the filing of the fraudulent liens. They hit me with a civil penalty, or our trust with civil penalties for frivolous filing. It's a $5,000 fine, and it was times 2 for me. So $10,000. Well, it's kind of like a red mark on my banking process, or my banking documents to authorize me to private bank.
Okay.
Because it's questionable, because of the frivolous filing, it's questionable if they can't say we know 100% that we owe this guy $132.6 million. So we can't 100% vouch that he has the funds to back up the bank. That's why they're holding me back. So to win this case in tax court would be, when the win happens in tax court, we're going to have, or I'm going to have the federal bankruptcy tribunal that my wife filed the bankruptcy on the debt, which says the debt is a provable debt. When my ex-wife filed bankruptcy on the $4 million that I owed her, there were also 9 other people on that contract. The contract that she used, some of y'all have read mine. If you've read the child support conditional acceptance of mine, my ex-wife's name's on there. Jeffrey Green's name's on there. He's our county county attorney. He came and testified. I don't have a contract with him. I don't have no business with him. That's aggravated perjury. Like Tim Burchett, the congressman, aggravated perjury. My ex-wife, aggravated perjury. Well, there were also, on that one conditional acceptance, not only was it my ex-wife who owed me $4 million, and they had to use the conditional acceptance in the bankruptcy, because there has to be a contract to file bankruptcy. If you don't have a contract in writing that proves that there's some kind of debt, you don't get to discharge it. If it's a fraudulent contract, that doesn't get discharged. It can't get discharged. You can't even file it for discharge. The fact that the court discharged the contract, or the debt that was on the conditional acceptance, along with the other 10 people, right? So if they prove that that is a $4 million debt to her, everybody else on the contract is $4 million. You see what I'm saying? So when I go in to fight this in the tax court, I go in and I say, hey, look, here's the contract that you say is a frivolous filing, But the federal court over here in Greenville says that it's not. That it's actually a genuine debt because they discharged in bankruptcy. Only provable debts can be discharged. So now the tax court has got to turn around and go, damn, I guess he's right. If it's not a frivolous, or if it's not a fraudulent debt to the point where it can be discharged in bankruptcy, then it's not a frivolous filing. So now all of a sudden I've got a federal court saying it's a provable debt, and I got the federal tax court saying it's not a frivolous filing. Well, if it's not a frivolous filing, then it's a genuine filing. If it's not a fraudulent debt, then it's a genuine debt, which means the contract that I sent with the conditional acceptance and the underlying security agreement, the UCC 1s and the 3s that I sent to the Treasury, is a provable debt, and it's not a frivolous filing. Okay, now you guys owe me this money. There's no doubt about it. You owe me this money. Okay, Mr. Hauser, now you can bank. Now you can go ahead and teach this to whoever you want to. And that's just on the federal level. If I turn around then and I go to Blackburn's, back into Blackburn's tribunal, and I say, look here, bitch, the federal government's saying that this is a provable debt and it's not a frivolous filing. Are you wanting to go against Uncle Sam? Prove to me that the United States federal courts are wrong. Prove to me that the tax court is wrong. Prove to me that the Treasury is wrong. They won't be able to do that. And remember, folks, I don't know if y'all know about post-conviction, but it's about new evidence. It's about admitting new evidence and where did the lawyers go wrong. Now I can go in there and say, look, you can't hide this contract anymore because the federal government recognizes it. So you can't hide this, which means you withheld material information from the litigants who appeared before you. You are guilty of fraud. It changes the whole scenario. It's why I was hoping I could get the tax court thing out of the way before I had to file the motion, or not the motion, the post-conviction. So, and in the demand letter, folks, what you hear me talk about, I read through about half of the points. There's 45 points that were addressed in the 36 pages of that document. That is the outline, or the watered-down version of what post-conviction is going to look like. It's going to take some time. If it took me 3 hours of videos to go through half of it, imagine what it's going to take to go through post-conviction. When that's just the watered-down version. I'm going to file it, and we're going to hit all these, we're going to swamp this bitch with so much stuff that she's going to have to address. She's probably going to run out. She's probably going to get up and run out. Even if we don't address the military stuff, the military flag stuff. She's probably going to run out. So that's where this is at, y'all. Man, I'm telling y'all, I probably wouldn't be so fired up to get all this other stuff done if I was doing the banking thing. A lot of y'all seen a video before or after that was about the what to say to the judge. I don't know how many of y'all have watched that, but I've taken it down because after I left it up for a while and I started seeing the questions that were coming in, I was really getting the impression that a lot of people were going to take that 2-page document and think they know what they're doing, when there's a lot more to it. You have to address the presentments, and there's a lot involved. And you have to know what you're doing. One of the gals you've heard me talk about her from Michigan, she may even be on here tonight, or from Indiana, up there dealing with that stuff. They got videos of her on YouTube with the judge. And she's like, well, what's up with this video? Can I do this stuff on the 5th of October? No, because she has a hard time comprehending what it was that I did to go in there and duplicate it herself. And she's been listening to someone else who gave her a script to go into. So it's hard. It's hard for her. I understand it. You can't blend things together. You can't blend this stuff together. She actually probably, I don't want to give her advice on what to do, because I've told her what to do, and half the stuff she doesn't get, or she's having trouble with. So, okay, here's a new process. I told you mine. You check somebody else's out, and now there's this new thing going down. If you're trying all three of these different angles, they're going to think you're a nutcase. If you go, well, she's coming in here every week with something different.
So, Chris.
Yeah.
If I may, if I can kind of redirect things a little bit and ask a question, because I get a lot of emails from people that are really hurting, and they're some of them are really desperate, and they're anxious, and they want to know about the whole private bank thing. If you have people set up right now that can start giving out these loans that we talked about, that can give financial relief to people.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to do with the Treasury. I was trying to get the people I've only done one class, and those people are already, from what I understand, they are already working on the 1099As. From the people who first started doing this back when I first started talking about it, they're filing them. People have been filing them for a while now, and the Treasury is getting them. And there's people in there now that are starting to work first come, first serve. This stuff was all put in there in boxes by the months. So if you're one of the very first, if you've been doing this for a while, you're one of the very first people to do this, you're probably going to get yours soon. And that's what my first class was created to do, to my understanding anyway. They were going to go in there and work on bank those first bunch of 1099As out. I was under the impression over a month ago, maybe close to 2 months ago, that I was going to get a half a dozen of my students back, and then I was going to mentor them for them starting their own classes. Because maybe my impression is that the Treasury wants more than the 26 people that were in the original class to work this stuff off, get it done faster. Maybe that's why they were teaching them. But I was going to insert, say, 2 or 3 people in each one of the 6. That's 18 people. And, a month and a half, 2 months' time, I could have 18 people of my choosing generating their paperwork and getting their approval. And those people I was going to do would have been there to start doing the loans plus start classes of their own. And now, now this is going on. I'm hoping that the Treasury gets with me because it could potentially be months before my case is heard. If I get a letter in the mail saying come to Greene County, the federal courthouse in Greene County on, November the 20th, that's shortly thereafter. By the end of the year, I'll be banking. And that's probably quick. So I'm hoping that the Treasury comes through. Because if they came through with and I was doing a class by the middle of starting multiple classes by the middle of next month, or October, by Christmas time that we would have 18 people or so, 15 to 18 people banking, which would make for a pretty good new year. So,
are you ready?
Yeah.
Are you ready for questions?
Unless you have any more. You have any more?
I'm good. Hey, Dan.
Hey, I'm here.
All right.
Hey, good to see you again, Chris.
Yeah.
What the hell's going on, man? I know you've explained a whole lot, but like I say, you know me, you know where I am and everything like that, and I don't want to beat that dead horse and keep asking the same questions. I actually had a plane ticket to come back up there on the 13th of September, but thought better of it and figured I better stay here until something happens because it's just easier that way. I'm functionally homeless when I'm up there, so it's kind of tough. But I'm just hoping everything gets going so that the banking will happen sometime soon because a lot of us have been kind of out here in the breeze for a while, and I'm trying to think. It was June of last year when I filed 1099s and everything like that, and I don't know how long it's been going on before that. You got any idea how long people were?
Yeah. People first started doing them about December. It'll be 2 years. This December it'll be 2 years. People started filing them about then. They were ordering them and getting their papers, within weeks. And then by about March of last year is when people started having a hard time getting them. So if you filed if you filed at the beginning of all that, you should be getting heard. If some probably already are, because they've been working on them now for probably close to a month. Some people that have first started filing those are probably already getting theirs taken care of.
Yeah, I think
And I'm hoping people will start messaging me about it. Hey man, I finally got these guys to get off their ass. I'm hoping that happens real soon.
Yeah.
Because that would be positive. That would be me knowing, if I started having, a dozen people a day or, 20 people a day, sending me messages, through the various channels. Hey, man, I got paid. The problem that I see mostly with the 1099As is people are doing these and they don't appear to be working because nobody's hearing or people aren't hearing back. Some people are, I just got heard back from the IRS. They got my filing. They got my 1099-A, and then they don't hear nothing. But then you got people who'll say, well, I went to the dealership, and this is bullshit, man. I went to 6 dealerships, and everybody says it's bullshit. And people forget the major reason why you do the 1099-A to the credit card companies, to the banks, to the dealerships. The reason you're doing that is so they reject you. I would much rather go to a dealership and be rejected because they didn't take it than to actually give me the car. Because what people, they can't see, a lot of people can't seem to get their head wrapped around the fact that you want them to return you down. Because now you can do the contract. You can do the conditional acceptance. And I would much rather have, $12 million of a contract with the Treasury than a freaking $80,000 car. When they get into this, their goals are low. Your goal is low. If you think you're going to go in here and get a Tesla with a 1099-A, and that's all you're expecting to do, you need to set your bar a little higher. Because that's the ultimate goal. You want the contract. I'd much rather have a contract with the Treasury like I've got now, even with the troubles I have. You ain't getting paid. If you get a car, you get a $60,000 car, you're not getting paid. You're getting $60,000 on 4 wheels.
Yeah.
That ain't getting paid. Getting a house, getting a $500,000 home. That's getting a house, but that's not getting paid.
Yeah, good point. And that was kind of where was a sticking point for people. I mean, you file for 20% more than what you're buying, and you get that little bit of crumbs. But
it's
I see
change, man.
I see what you're saying. Yeah, I see what you're saying. Well, you mentioned about by the end of the year, you thought maybe the birth certificate would be enough to access your trust and stuff. What's new on that front, and how did I misunderstand that if I did?
Well, I was the concept. My phone's about to go dead.
Oh no!
Or my earbuds are anyway, or my. Let me see. Yeah, I still got some power on the phone, but my bone conductors are about to go. I keep powering's low. Usually it does that for about 5 or 10 minutes and it goes out. But if that does, I'll just go to speakerphone. So, let me back up again. I got sidetracked. It was rough, man, y'all. It was 17 and a half hours straight drive all the way up here, man.
Yeah, I can imagine.
I'm dreading that ride back, man. Especially with teenagers.
Yeah, and I'm sorry. I meant to give my condolences about losing family members.
Yeah, it's all right, man.
That sucks. I'm really sorry.
They ain't lost. They're with us always.
Yeah.
That's the way I see it, man. I don't mourn the loss. I didn't mourn my father in his passing. You know what I mean? You're supposed to mourn when they're born, not when they leave.
Yeah.
So, but, I'm sorry, Dan. I got sidetracked there.
A birth certificate.
No.
Yeah, the birth certificate.
Yeah, we were talking about that. Yeah.
The monetizing. You could do that now. If you want to set the contract up with the Treasury, get a copy of your birth certificate and monetize it. And then fix the assignment agreement. There, you'll enclose, you'll find a certified copy of the original birth certificate and monetized on the back. Send it to them in the contract. Here's the contract. Here's the birth certificate. $300 million. Send them a contract.
Yeah, I've got mine double authenticated and everything like that, but I don't know how much that's going to help. How do we even know? I mean,
it's probably 6 to 1, a half dozen the other. You could probably use a straight birth certificate or one that, where y'all are doing the stuff with it. It doesn't matter. It's the same thing. And if you're putting beneficiary, you sign with the beneficiary signature. Put it on the back. Send it to him. Say, look, I want you to create a $300 million bond based on my birth certificate and keep 35%. Because see, when you do this stuff, Dan, and you do these contracts, and the language is in the contract, they're going to sign the green card or stamp it. More than likely, they're going to stamp it when you send it to them. So you're going to get it stamped back that someone received it. One of the agents for Janet Yellen received this contract. Do I hear from them in 45 days? No. If I don't hear from them in 45 days, they agree that they're going to create a bond for $300 million based on your birth certificate. Now you have them owing you 65% of $300 million. It's all about the contract, folks. Once you get the 45 days, you do that, and you get the 45 days on the birth certificate, then all you need to do is learn how to do the banking and file the paperwork. And I'm telling y'all, I'm not going to go much longer piddly farting around the freaking Treasury. Before I go, you know what? I'm tired of jacking around with you pricks. You done bullshitted me long enough. And then do it and let the chips fall where they may. I may do that. Within the next month or two. I hope you're listening. Maybe they'll get off the freaking stick.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah, that's all you'd have to do.
All right, so Dan, does that answer your question?
Dan, you could create a UCC1 against someone for $50 million. Because Tennessee says it's worth money. They're saying a UCC1's a negotiable instrument, folks.
Yeah,
anybody that would read the opinion, take the time to read the opinion, is going to get that from it. I did. It didn't take me long to get that from it. When I read the opinion, first I was kind of pissed off at him, and then I was like, you know what? Actually, these guys are these three that made the majority opinion are like my ex-wife. First I wanted to smack him in the face. Now I want to hug him around the neck.
Yeah.
So
I got it.
So
that's what they did, guys. Read the opinion. Read the opinion, and you'll see that they're saying that the UCC ones are actually worth the money that's in the thing. If they weren't saying that, then they would have listened to the descending opinion where Kirby says the UCC one has no value. Send it back to Blackburn's court and have her resentence these guys.
Yeah. Well, I need to get back up there to the States because I can't do anything from down here. I've got our mail is unreliable.
People that are waiting, you guys. We got a bunch of people.
All right, I'm out of here. Chris, thanks, buddy, and Ted.
Thank you, buddy.
Thank you.
Yeah, you too.
Okay, so we got somebody with a restricted line. Your phone just...
that's me. I'm sorry. Oh, I meant to change that on my phone.
Voice.
Yes.
Yeah, it sounds familiar.
This is Sharon. Yes. Chris, I'm glad you're doing okay. Sorry about your family.
Yeah, it's all right.
But what I would like to ask is, I sent the claim of liens in May of 22, and in February I received back the green card from the Treasury. But when they stamped received, there was letters that said FRP 306. And there's people that I read and talk about it, and they say that means that what has happened, whatever I sent was destroyed. Is this true?
They destroyed the contract?
Well, they mean the stamp where the IRS, the green cards the originals that I sent with the claim of liens, I received those back, and I was kind of surprised about it. But on that stamp, it says received, February 17th, 2023, and it has letters underneath that says FRP 306. And in discussions, like on Telegram and others, they say that FRP 306 on there means that it's like not a frivolous filing, but that it was destroyed. Can you confirm that, or what do you think?
Well, I could confirm it, but I'll tell you this much that people on Telegram's probably not thinking about is the Paper Reduction Act. They may have put all this stuff, created electronic files of everything, just so they ain't getting stacks and stacks of paper. That's one possibility. But look, if you sent them that contract and you got something back saying that it was received, whether they kept it, destroyed it, put it on microfiche, digitized it, whatever the case may be, you got a contract, you got a copy of it, right?
Yes.
You got a copy of the contract that you sent with them. So you got a copy. You know what was on it. And then they received it. They know what's on it, and they got it. They never contacted you within 45 days, right?
Correct. No,
and
they
said,
did not.
We're not accepting this contract. But see, everybody's sending contracts. Anybody that looks at it is going to go, here's a contract.
Yeah.
You guys know, I mean, most people that's been studying this for a while know that if somebody sends you a contract, is making you an offer, you better respond to it. And they're not. If they're not responding to it, they're accepting it. They're acquiescing to it.
All right.
I
haven't received any letter. All right. I have not received a letter, anything regarding that contract, that claim, the liens, and everything that I sent to the Treasury.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't received like a frivolous, this is wrong, or anything to that effect.
Well, it would matter if they even send it after 45 days. They've agreed to it. Wait a minute. You're trying to tell me you agreed to it, and then 6 months later you're saying it's frivolous? How can it be a frivolous filing when you agreed to it?
Yeah.
They know this when they do this.
All right. So would I somehow put it, to file a 1040 to apply that contract to the 1040 in order to be able to access those funds? Would it be through a 1099?
I would not file it. I would not file a 1099 or a 1040. Because you probably told them in the contract you're not a taxpayer, right?
Yes.
Have you
and
used
I've
that
done
in there? In the footnotes? I'm not a taxpayer. Every taxpayer, in Ray Boland's, every taxpayer is a Cestui Que Trust. I put that on every one of those contracts. Why? Because I'm not a taxpayer. Don't come back at me and ask me for taxes. You contractually agreed I'm not a taxpayer when you accepted the contract.
Yes. And plus I've done a corporate denial, basically, and so I've done. I'm just laying the groundwork really to be free, to kind of separate myself from it. But so these,
that's what we're all trying to do.
Yeah, really. All right. Well, that was my question. I've got my individual banker's EIN, and all that set up. But that was my question, and it is great to hear from you. And hang in there.
Back on here with you all.
Yeah, and you're still on my prayer list. So,
thanks, I need them.
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
All right.
All right, we go to 314 area code.
Hey, Chris, how you doing?
What's up, man?
How's everything, brother? Look, I got a question. I got some money in the Treasury. You know, I did a couple of conditional acceptance, and when I did the letter of credit, but it's like it ain't getting no response. You know, I even went to the inspector General's
office.
Yeah.
So you did a letter of credit, and you monetized it and sent it to him?
Yeah. I had the bank, and they ain't budging.
Mm-hmm.
They're not budging at all.
So you took the letter of credit and you sent it to the Treasury as a contract?
Correct. No. After I had sent the contract, this was, this was like in.
So you had the conditional acceptance, the created contracts, and then afterwards you did the letter of credit.
I just really. The conditional acceptance been up there for 6-7 months. I just did the letter of credit in August.
Based on the contract, right?
Right. Just some of it, not the whole thing, So I went through my So I just wanted a part of it, I wasn't trying to pull out, everything. And
so what'd you do with the credit?
Huh?
What did you do with the letter of credit? What did you do with the letter of credit?
What do you mean, what did I do?
What did you do with the letter? You generated a letter of credit, right?
Right. And I sent it to the Treasury.
And you sent it to the Treasury. So you
Correct.
gave them the letter of credit. Okay.
Correct.
Yeah. I'd probably try to take it to the bank first.
The bank said that the bank that I'm dealing with Chase, they said that it had to go to, Janet Yellen. They couldn't it was between me and Janet Yellen. They couldn't get involved in that, and then they would send the proceeds to them.
Okay, how did you send it to the Treasury?
Registered mail.
Okay, did you send it with a contract, or did you just send the letter of credit?
I just sent the letter of credit.
Did you send a letter explaining what you wanted them to do with it?
Correct. Yeah, correct. I filled out the everything that needs to be, the routing number and all of that, and I wrote Janet Yellen a brief, a letter explaining, I had the conditional acceptance numbers on there, and I wanted her to.
How long ago did you send it? How long ago did you send it?
It's been about 2 months now.
2 months, huh?
Been about 2 years for me.
Yeah. I'm kind of wondering if it wouldn't be faster just to go through like take that letter of credit and go through an exchange with it. Go to Fidelity or somebody like that, and go to them and say, hey man, here's a letter of credit. Create some bonds. create some bonds on this letter of credit. You know what I mean? And then go ahead and get your commission and shit. You know, and then have them sell the bonds based on the letter of credit. I can see that working faster than trying to get it through Janet Yellen.
Okay.
She doesn't even know how to handle that Treasury. What she's doing, raising interest and shit like that.
I got my medallion. I'm with Schwab's. I'm with Schwab's. I think that's the name of Schwab's or something like that.
Yeah.
Brokerage.
Charles Schwab.
And they doing my medallion stamp for me. You know, so I'm gonna run that through them. You know, and
all right. So does that answer your question then?
Yeah. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. Okay, so we're going to go to 870 area code. Go ahead.
Hey, Professor Hauser, how you doing?
Hey, what's going on, man?
Yeah, the reason why I call you the professor, you got a lot of knowledge, and I want to thank you for everything you're doing. And I thank you for your autograph because I sent you a card a long time ago. You understood the assignment. But let me ask you a quick question. That thing you said try with the credit card on your video?
Yeah.
I tried that, but, you know, they sent it back. So I said, well, let me ask you, what should I do in a situation like that? Start all over again?
Yeah, you sent him the coupon?
Yes, sir. I did exactly what you said.
Yeah, you sent the coupon with the letter and the postal rule and all that. And they sent it back to you?
Well, what was that? Capital One? If you try anything like that, they'll shut your account off. They'll shut it down. Yeah.
So they shut your account off and then they sent your coupon back?
No, they didn't send the coupon back. They just shut the account off and sent me a letter.
Okay.
I kept the letter.
Okay. Let me ask you this again. Did they send you your coupon back?
Oh, no, sir. No, sir. They didn't.
Then they accepted it.
Okay. That's what I thought.
Okay. Look, y'all,
yes.
Whenever you're doing those and they shut your account off, I would suggest leaving $5 or $10 in the account. Don't pay it all off. Just $5 or $10. Leave it. Pay it down to that. And if they shut your account off, or because you sent the whole amount, some people are sending more than what they owe, thinking that it'll debit the account. I haven't heard anybody be successful with that. But what they like to do is they like to close the account. Sometimes they'll send you another offer as soon as you get this thing straight. What you do is, if they don't send you back the coupon that you monetized, that's a negotiable instrument. That coupon's a negotiable instrument. Ask Google. Hey, Google, is a coupon a negotiable instrument? They're going to say yeah. So if they keep that, they've agreed that they've accepted payment. So for them to turn around and say, you still owe me, you can say, prove that you haven't accepted the coupon. Can you prove that you have not accepted the coupon? The only way they can prove they haven't accepted it is if they send it back to you registered mail with a contract. Okay? If they send you a letter saying, we've shut your account off and you still owe us money, really? How is that? You kept the negotiable instrument, did you not?
That's what I
don't know, you diddly squat. And see, that, brother, is your proof. Now you can go to one or all of the credit bureaus and dispute that you owe them anything. Say, look, man, I sent these people in the coupon for the whole amount, and they're trying to say I still owe them. I paid these people off. They didn't send the payment back. They can't prove that they sent it back. I'm disputing this on my credit report. Now, what will happen is they'll take that off your credit report until Capital One can prove that they didn't accept your payment. What does that do? That shows that you paid. That's an account that you paid off. It'll show that you paid that account off until they can dispute that you have it. And they won't because they can't. They won't dispute it. So your credit will go up, and more than likely in 2 or 3 months, their Capital One will send you another credit card.
Well,
say,
from what I was told,
we just made money that quick off of this guy.
Yeah, from what I was told, you had to take them to arbitration. So that's what I was told that. So.
You don't. No. You can, if you read the Free Credit Report Act, you will see that all you have to do is dispute it, and it'll come off your credit score. Read the Credit Report Act. It'll explain all that.
Okay, Professor. Thank you so much.
You don't owe that debt. You don't owe that debt, brother. What you better not do is recontract with those boneheads.
Okay.
Or you will owe the debt. You know what I'm saying?
That's all I need to know. Yes, sir.
That's what you got, my friend.
All right. Thank you. All right. We're going to move on to 281 area code. Go ahead. 281.
Hello?
Hello there. Go ahead.
Hi. Yes. Okay. Sorry. I am calling. I have a couple of questions here. Chris, hi. How are you doing? And Tad, thank you for hosting this show. How are y'all doing? Okay. I sent an email to Christopher this evening at 7:27 p.m. Central Time. I'm asking for the Telegram group. I originally used to be on it way back when it was first started on your study group until it got overswamped, and I kind of got snowballed in life for some things that happened, and now I'm back trying to refresh myself on a lot of things and trying to catch up on some Q&As that I found on the You Got the Right Side on YouTube. And so I have a couple of questions regarding some of those videos, a couple of them.
First off, Telegram's a train wreck. You don't even want to go on there. You're better off staying in a small group like Tad's got going on right here.
I'm on that group, yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. That's fine. Because the first question I have is on November 3rd of 2022 in the Q&A on the YouTube You Have the Right Site at approximately 2 hours and 55 seconds mark, a lady comes on explaining how she put a file in the Telegram group on how to send your mortgage company an equitable contract with a bill of exchange. And then you had her repeat it in detail, and also about printing on 32-pound paper, making it a cashable security instrument. And so she said that's why I was interested in Telegram. She says she posted this on Telegram. And, Tad, I believe you asked her to get in contact with you to try to put something on your site, and I haven't found it there, or maybe I'm not looking in the right place. So
I'd have to go back and listen to that. November the 3rd.
November 3rd, yes.
Man, I've slept a bunch of times since then.
I know. That's been a long time ago, almost a year. So, like I said, I'm trying to catch up on it, okay?
I don't think we have that, sorry.
Okay. But if you just, like I said, it's about the 2 hour and 55-minute mark, so it's close to the end of the video.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
I'll see if I can go back in the next day or two, and, well, maybe when I get back home. I'll go back and listen to it, see if I can figure out who it was and what it was about. There's a lot of stuff going on, folks. A lot of good things going on. I know everything seems, I'm impatient in most parts. The last video that I did, y'all, was in a zoning commission. Our county was the last county in Tennessee to
I caught that one,
vote in a zoning, and people are pissed because 9 people voted yes. They voted yes on it, even though there was only one person get up in the whole meeting and say he was for it.
Yes.
They all voted yes because they're greasy politicians. But y'all think about this. When you're having problems with your counties, like we are, all it would take is for 80% of the people in the county to get together and not pay the taxes. Stop paying your property taxes. I talked to a guy down here, a lawyer friend, a retired lawyer friend, comes to the DAV. I asked him, I said, how long could you go without paying your property taxes before they could actually take your property? He said, well, you can go 2 years. You got 2 years before they can even file the sheriff's repossession thing. And then you have
being I have a mortgage. Okay, being I have a mortgage, is in my escrow, and so.
Yeah. Well, what I'm saying is it would take 2 years before they can even try and take your property. If everybody in the county would stop paying their property taxes, inside of 4 months, the county would shut down completely. You wouldn't have to worry about them trying to sue you to take your property, because the county attorney's not going to do it for free. You know what I'm saying?
Right, yeah.
That's what we need to do in our county. If we could do something like that, if we can get enough people that aren't scared, and we can convince 80% of the people in the county not to pay the taxes come next March, by next August, they would be kissing our ass for us to come pay the money.
Okay.
And doing whatever we wanted to do. That's the way you take your local governments back, folks. Everybody get into one accord and stop paying the property tax. Inside of 4 to 6 months, there ain't a cop I know one that's going to work without pay.
Right, okay.
You know what I'm saying? I kind of hate to sidetrack. I wanted to share that.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, because I'm not.
Our representatives totally screwed us.
Yeah,
they're not representing you if they're voting against your will.
True. Okay. Okay.
All right.
I'm sorry. I have another question here. Okay. And it's another video, but I don't recall which date it was. But a lady had asked you was about the W-4 sandwich process, and during that Q&A, you told her that only one 1040 form could be filed per year. And then you also come back and said that anyone can amend a 1040 form as many times as they want to. And so, I'm detailed oriented and analytical brained. Okay, so I Googled how do you amend it, because I'm thinking, is there a special form, and found out there is. I've never amended a 1040. Okay, and there's a 1040X form, and it looked very confusing. Do you know anything about that one? And does it need to be used?
No, because I've never amended. I've never amended one. I know that you can. I know about 1040X. The best thing I could say to do, the best advice I could give would be to go to their website and get their directions. Get the directions.
Around. Okay.
Every form has a description and a direction and the definitions of the words that It'll help clarify how to fill it out.
I just haven't got that far yet. I will look into that. And I do have something else I wanted to say that I was really excited about, because I got a beneficiary account. I did try Capital One because everybody seems to think they are the easiest. I got shut down. It's like, no, they wouldn't let me do a signature card even electronically. I said, well, no, you defeat my purpose. Goodbye, And so I was determined, and I went to Wells Fargo, and I got this lady that was real nice, and sat down with her and decided which account I wanted. One that was going to charge me $10 monthly fee. I would keep a daily balance of $500. Yeah, okay, no problem. And so, but one thing I'm excited about is that I told her, I said, no, I'll order my checks myself, because I want to pick out, some pretty theme or something. And I did consistently ask her about the signature card. And I didn't want to freak her out. I said, look, I'm just old school. I'm 61 years old, and I remember the paper cards from back when. And I, asked her if she could really get me a paper signature card. She politely, said no, and said, but they did electronics. Okay, no problem. And so I did that. And I ended up doing 3 signatures with my Benny account, my Benny signature. So there's 3 Benny signatures on this one account that I opened up, and I paid $200 cash to open the account. Well, when I ordered my checks, I got thinking, I hadn't thought that far, but when I ordered my checks online, so I click a link through their website, and it takes you to that well-known name, Harlan Checks or something it's called. And I put in where, the top left-hand corner where your name goes and your address goes. And, okay, I put my Benny name in, okay? I put my first name hyphen, middle name, colon, last name, comma, and beneficiary. And I'd never heard of anyone doing it that way. And so I've had 6 bill checks that I wrote out to different bills, including one to my mortgage, that have cleared. Because I just recently opened this up in like a little over a month ago. And so, I'm
when
just
they clear
excited
the
about
bank
that.
in,
Yes,
when they clear the bank and the finance company, both, or the mortgage company, both recognize you as a beneficiary.
Yeah. I mean, it's like different bills, but the biggest one I sent was my mortgage. And so, so that's what I'm waiting because I get 2 months free that they don't charge me the monthly charge, $10. And so, but I'm waiting for that to happen and see how long it's going to take them to say, before I get that phone call that everybody talks about, they want me to come close my account. And I said, I'm sorry, nope, can't make me do that. No, no. No, yeah.
All right.
So I just want to say,
Sharon.
Okay,
so
thank you.
760 area code. Go ahead. 760.
Hey, Chris. So good to have you back. I'm great. It's so good to see you again on YouTube and hear your voice and know that you're all okay, and I'm sure everybody feels the same way. Thank you so much for being here, and thank you, Tad, for having him on.
Sure.
So my question is, I have a negotiable instrument that I'm getting ready to send to the Treasury. It's already made out, but I had a question. If I have allegedly taxes that I haven't paid, will they process it or will they send it back?
They may process it and take what they think the trust owes.
Okay. So
do I
need? Huh? I'm sorry.
They may do that especially if you put the Social Security number on the document.
Yeah, it's on there.
You know what I mean? If they look up your name and they have access to your Social Security number and they've already audited your account and they say, well, she still owes $15,000 in back taxes, they might take it. They might.
Well, they would
but
take
then you're
them.
straight. You didn't give it to them; they took it. You know what I mean?
Do I need to advise them any instructions with the NI, or to just send it in with? Okay.
Here's what I would do. I would footnote on the contract in Ray Bolins.
Say that again.
Every taxpayer. In Ray Bolins. Every taxpayer is a Cestui Que Trust. In Ray Bolins, Bolens. It's on the conditional acceptances, every one of them. Usually on the first page.
Okay.
If you go on here and look at one of my conditional acceptances that's on Tad's website, you'll see at the bottom in the footnotes, you'll see in Ray Bolins, and the quote that goes along with it. Every taxpayer is a Cestui Que Trust, having sufficient interest in preventing abuse of the trust, to be recognized by this court's prerogative jurisdiction.
Okay.
As it relates or in the proceedings to set sovereign authority in motion by action.
Okay.
Okay.
What if you haven't filed at all? How does that work? Do you know?
Put in Ray Bolins on it. Look, y'all,
okay.
In Ray Bolins is you saying, listen, I'll say this again. In Ray Bolins, okay, or in regard to Bolins, Bolens, It's 135 Northwest Rep, 164, 1912, Supreme Court of Wisconsin. And it reads, in quotations, every taxpayer is assessed to Que Trust, having sufficient interest in preventing abuse of the trust to be recognized in the field of this court's prerogative jurisdiction as a relator in the proceedings to set sovereign authority in motion by action. Okay? What that's saying is anybody, anytime anybody mentions taxes around old Chris, I say, in Ray Boland, every taxpayer is assessed to Que Trust. Not every sentient being is there's no sentient beings that are assessed to Que Trust. So you, and when I say you, the sentient being, cannot be a taxpayer. If the IRS sends you a letter and says, Dear Taxpayer, you can send them a letter right back saying, I'm not a dear taxpayer in Ray Boland.
Okay.
You know, that's proof right there that and that's the Supreme Court of Wisconsin. Like you'll be able to see, or you'll be able to say that the Tennessee Supreme Court says that a financing statement is now a negotiable instrument. And then you'll be able to quote our case.
Okay.
That's
awesome.
what I would do. If you don't want them to, if I've never filed paid taxes, I know a guy, he's Everett, the guy I bought the building from with the contract that started this all out. He didn't even know when he fell and broke his back last winter, he didn't even know what his Social Security number was. He hadn't used it in 45 years.
Wow.
Yeah. He didn't even. I don't even know what my number is. Luckily, they found it for him, and and then he after 74 years, he finally signed up for Social Security, and his Social Security paid $160,000 of his medical bills. So, but I'm not a taxpayer. It wasn't me that paid my medical bills. It wasn't him. It wasn't him that paid the medical bills. It was his trust.
Mm-hmm.
They taxed his trust for the medical bills. His trust was gifting them the money. Your trust should be gifting any taxes that are claimed to be owed back to whoever's claiming to be owed it. That's pretty much as clear as I can be about that, folks. In Ray Boland.
Okay,
memorize it, man, because you'll use it more than any other case law I've ever used. In Ray Boland.
In Ray Boland. Okay, so on my actual certificate, my actual negotiable instrument, it's already, I have a wonderful person already type everything out, right? So in the memo section, can I write in Ray Boland because everything's already pre-typed? Okay.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure it's not. Okay.
Just
awesome.
Make sure it's on there anywhere.
Okay. I can just write it in. Okay. Hey, thank you so much for being there, okay? You guys take care. We'll talk soon.
All right.
Okay.
407 area code. Go ahead.
Yeah, he pretty much answered my question as far as the birth certificate. He said we're pretty much waiting on the Treasury, and they're slow poking around. So I just wanted to know, just to kind of confirm that, because you mentioned possibly a couple of months ago, October 25th and around November sometime. So is that pretty much out the door until you can get in touch with them? And my second question is, Felicia Beverly, I just saw a video with her where the Treasury responded to, I believe it must have been a W-4 sandwich that she turned in a year ago. So I know, would that mean that they are starting to answer respond to the W-4s?
Yeah, I think
so. Okay. Now, when it comes to that birth certificate, the dates. On the last time we talked to you was like around October 25th or November. It was something like that. And are those days? Do we have to postpone those until the your court date or the court ruling, or until they get back in touch with you, or is it are you in talks with them at all, or
the birth certificate in the contract with the Treasury? Anybody can do that, and anybody can do it now.
Okay.
And then you have the contract. You're ready to go when it's time to go. They may even contact you and say, hey, man, okay, cool, we got you. Now, let us tell you, sir, how we're going to get you paid. I don't know how they'll respond to that, but I do know that you can monetize the birth certificate, and I do know you could put an amount to it, turn it over and monetize it back. This thing's now worth $300 million or $100 million, whatever the case may be, and then send it on. I would probably do it for $100 million because the way that they write, the Treasury won't cut a check for more than a certain amount, $100 million or something like that. So, but that way you're doing. If you do that, if you did $100 million every 5 years, you should be able to take care of yourself pretty good, even if you're only getting $65 million.
Of course.
You know what I'm saying? Because you're gonna. You take that birth certificate, you monetize it, and then you create an assignment agreement where you're assigning the birth certificate to the Treasury, and you're taking that and you're saying, here, go ahead and get your percentage. Here's someone who pays income taxes pays on average, I think it's like 22.5%. I'm willing to give you 35 just for collecting this for me.
Right.
You do this in a contract, you send it off. You haven't heard from them in 45 days. Then they've acquiesced to the contract.
Right.
Now, at that point, they owe you. Now they owe you, man.
Okay, yeah, that's beautiful to know. When they do pay, let's say they answer quickly, am I looking for the money to be in cash, or do I get it in credit? How does that work? They cut a check, don't they?
I mean, if they gave it to you in cash, they'd have to come to your house with a couple armored cars. You're talking about
well, I mean, like cut a check. I meant like cut a check.
Well, they could cut you a Treasury check.
Right.
How you want to ask for it?
Gotcha.
However you want to ask for it. If you could say that you want the money, you can say, I want it in gold or silver coins. Tender, because the Article 1, Section 10 says, no state shall make anything but gold or silver coins a tender for payment of a debt, right? You could say, if you have no gold or silver coins, then I'll receive without prejudice Federal Reserve notes, a bank draft, or the likes in lieu of the gold or silver coins for the sum total.
Gotcha.
You could say something like that and give them the option. How do you want to do it? You want to give me gold and silver? You want to give me a bank draft? You want to give me Federal Reserve notes? I'll leave that up to you. I don't care how you get it to me. Just get it.
Right. Gotcha.
That's kind of the way we did it.
And that's the way I'll do it. Sounds good to me.
When you say that and then they don't send it to you, the only thing they could have done is put it in your trust. You could even say, look, I just want it in my trust. Just take what you owe me, the 65%, and put it directly into my trust. Notify me when you've done that. Now you know they put it in your trust, and they authorize. Now they're allowing you to know that the money's in your trust. Why? Because they didn't give it to you. It's the only place it could have went.
Right. When they put that money in your trust, maybe I'm confused a little bit. Now, I really would like for them to cut a check if they will. But if they put that money in the trust, can I access that? Like is there kind of way, or will they block me getting to that money?
Well, they're not going to let you access it like it's a bank, because your Social Security trust, it's a trust. It's not a bank account. So I would suggest if you want to access it, then I would say give it to me in Federal Reserve notes, a bank draft, blah, blah, blah. The only way that I don't want to receive it is for it to be deposited into my trust account.
Gotcha.
You could actually say, I would like it set up an irrevocable trust, a foreign grantor's irrevocable trust, and then get that trust number, and then say deposit it into this foreign grantor's trust, and then give them the account, and they'll put it into that trust fund. Start working it out of that trust fund. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir. I sure do, and that answers my question, and I appreciate it.
All right, thank you.
All right, brother.
307 area code. Go ahead.
My question is if you send out a negotiable instrument and the companies, I've done this to now probably 10 or 15, and I've had 3 of them call me back and say that they are not going to do it, that it's not a monetary way of paying my bills, that a bond, and then they go through this whole spiel about what a bond is, and they're like, you don't have a bond, and I'm just hit the wall, and I told them about the postal rule, and then I said, okay, well then, I'll send you a conditional acceptance. I mean, not a conditional acceptance, what is it called? Oh, yeah, conditional acceptance letter, but I'm not getting anywhere. I'm just hitting the walls. So do I need to be more strong about it, or is there something?
You said that they're telling you. So what when they say it's a bond? What do they? Or it's not a bond? How do they define a bond?
Well, pretty much they said that you have to go to Fidelity and you have to purchase a bond, and then it goes on the market and that type of thing. One of them was Verizon, and she was very, very condescending to me about it. And I said no. I sent you because I sent them the coupon. And then I also sent them a 1099-A. And, she said that neither of those ways are tender note, federal notes, and that's the only way that they'll take them is through federal notes as far as money goes.
So when they told you that it wasn't a bond, they didn't tell you this, did they? Listen to me. Bond, a certificate or evidence of a debt, that's a bond. Another bond, a contract. A contract is a bond. Right?
Right.
A debt on which interest is paid. A debt on which interest is paid. Okay? That's another definition. A deed whereby the obligor obliges himself, his heirs, his executor, administrator, to pay a certain sum of money to another at a day appointed. Right?
Right.
There's some more. Every one of these are backed by case law. A mere promise to pay. Isn't that what you're doing?
Exactly.
Isn't that what Capital One is saying? You have a promise to pay, right? A specialty or sealed instrument, and not merely a written instrument, a written obligation. An instrument which is not necessarily under seal, an instrument with a clause with a sum fixed as a penalty, binding the parties to pay same conditions, however, that the payment of the penalty may be avoided by the performance of someone or some or more of the parties of a certain act. Any contractual funds device and obligation to pay interest embodied in bonds as included in word bond. That's exactly what it is. If you read the definition of what a bond is, don't let somebody tell you that's not what it is.
Okay.
What do you mean, lady? You know more than Blacks does? You know more than Webster? Because according to Webster's, we got a bond. That's what it is. That's what the coupon is. Read the definition of coupon. You know, a coupon will tell you it's a bond. What do you mean, lady? It's not a bond. Let me read you the definition of coupon, and then read the definition to them.
Okay. You kind of caught me off guard because I was out and about. I wasn't at home. I wasn't in my element. So, you know, when they called, it was like I was at a doctor's appointment. Anyways, I have one more question. Last year, I sent Wells Fargo a couple of 1099s, 2 different times. I never received them back. I did receive a letter the second time stating, you know, thank you for contacting us. We received your complaint and are going to promptly address the concerns. And then they send me another letter saying, we've researched it and this is not proper payment or whatever. And then we ended up moving from Washington to Arizona. And so we sold the house. It got paid off. But now I'm like, and I don't know if I can even do this, but I'm going back to the fact that, hey, back in June last year, I sent you 1099s. You should have, you know, canceled that debt, and now you owe me the money. Is that, can I do that or? Yeah.
I do it. I don't know what you're going to get out of it, but you might. They might offer a settlement.
I was like, I'm hoping for $229,000.
They kept it. Wait a minute, you kept my payment. You owe me, and we went and sold the house and then paid it off. Wait a minute, wasn't you supposed to do that? Put them in a position to, look, if you can't produce the 1099-A, and if they destroyed it, they're in big trouble.
Right.
That's fraud. And if there's more than one person, and there usually is, because whoever did it, whoever accepted it, signed the green card, was working as an agent, so that means they were working as someone. This conspiracy conspiracy to commit fraud.
Okay.
You can try it, man. Look, y'all, I always say, look, try it. Try it. I mean, what's the worst that's going to happen? They're going to tell you no again.
Right.
They might screw around and go, hey, man, this lady knows a little bit more than what she should know. Go ahead and just pay her to get her out of our hair.
Gotcha. Last question.
Yeah, try it. Let us know. Come back. Let us know how it works.
Okay. Last question. If somebody owes you a lot of money, and they're, you've taken them to court or put a judgment on them, and I feel that these people are just going to wait out the 10 years and, I won't be getting anything. Is there any way of saying, hey, look, dude, give me a 1099, send it to me, and let me see if I can, clear this debt or something? I mean, I don't know if you can do that or not. Is that something possible to do, or?
That's always possible. But what you could do is say, look, sign this contract saying you agree you owe me this money and that you won't dispute a claim of lien. I'll put a claim of lien on you and it'll go away after 5 years.
Right.
And then monetize, take that down there. Say, look, Tennessee says these things is worth money. I hope everybody, I'm going to start doing it. I'm going to freaking lien my wife. I think I'm going to lien my wife.
All right.
Yeah, this lawyer's, she was sweating it today. What's up with this thing you guys have sent this Supreme Court justice? I said, you want a copy of it? And I sent it to her. I emailed her a copy of it. I figured they'd have gave it to her, but apparently not. Let's see. We'll see what they do.
All right,
but up until they overturn it, y'all, that claim of lien is worth whatever you put down there in the collateral description. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. 636 area code. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Hello?
Yes, go ahead.
Hey, Chris. I just wanted to say, you helped me out a lot, man. Whole bunch. You helped me out with a whole court case. And I had a few questions to ask you, about 2 questions, if it ain't much of your time. I got a car payment or a whole car debt that I really don't want to pay, and I was just asking you about the 1099-C and how to get out of it. And the other question was, I got a court case coming up because I never paid the car title and all that stuff, and the sales tax and all that, registration. And I just really want to hear your opinion because I've been watching your videos, and I thought this was a good time to ask you.
Yeah. Well, the thing about the C, I've had a few comments and some emails come across where the C's are actually working. What you would do is you'd say, look, send me a 1099-C or give me a 1099-C and I'll sign it for you. The thing about the 1099-C is the only problem that you may run into with it to pay off or discharge the car loan or whatever is that they're going to turn around and they're going to hit you for the taxes.
Okay.
But remember, in Ray Bolins, I'm not a taxpayer. If you get one, if you get somebody, if any of y'all get anybody to set off the debt with a 1099-C, remember you're not a taxpayer. When they hit you up later on, well, you used 1099-C to pay off your $300,000 home. Well, now you owe us $50,000 taxes. No, buddy, in Ray Bolins, I'm not a taxpayer. That's what I would suggest if you guys are going to mess around with 1099-C.
Okay.
And the other thing was, first off, you don't have court. It's an administrative tribunal, not a court. and you don't have it. Remember, they are charging your trust. When is the hearing?
It's November 3rd, 2023, in Missouri, Franklin County.
Yeah, you got a little time. Within the next few days, I'm going to, like I said, folks, I took down if you had a chance to see that, the first words out of your mouth video that I took down, I ran it for a little while, and I took it down. I'm y'all. And he flies all over the country doing that.
I guess we look at it like, if we look at it like the Supreme Court says that we can travel, and there's multiple documents of us traveling. Why are we constantly at the county level, or the city level, state levels? They harass us to where we have to go to these courts and we do these dog and pony shows, but we're told by the Supreme Court and the Constitution that we have these rights to travel, but we continue to be harassed. What do we do as a group?
Well, there has to be more of this. And that's happening. This movement is growing more and more every day. People are waking up. And it's like I was saying, we could shut this county down in 4 to 6 months if 80% of the people would stand up and say, screw you, I'm not paying your taxes. That's the same thing. More people have to beat these freaking courts up and win these cases. And they're fighting hard, man. These municipalities are fighting hard to maintain what they've got, because day in and day out, people are walking in there and going, I challenge the jurisdiction. This is a municipal. This is freaking McDonald's. You're freaking Ronald McDonald sitting up there, Judge.
We did it.
You know what I'm saying? You ain't.
Oh yeah.
Hey, is this city court, traffic court? Is it a part of the municipal? Is this a municipal court? Well, yeah. So really, what you are is a corporation.
Yep. Oh,
we are one of your corporate employees.
Verified
because, see, they'll tell you all the time. If you go in and you ask the judge, what's the jurisdiction of your court? 9 times out of 10, he's going to say it's statutory, state statutory. Oh, really? Learn what a statute is. Their corporate policy. Oh, well, statute, take Black's Law, be ready. Take Black's Law in there with you. Well, according to Black's Law, a statute is this. Now, how does that apply to me? You know, how does that apply to me? Why do I have to pay any attention to your statute?
Agreed.
All right.
Thank you very much, Chris.
Okay, thank you. All right, Chris.
Yeah, man.
It's been 2 hours. We got one more call, and I think I'm going to call it good, but maybe we can do another call next week.
Yeah, man.
Does that sound all right?
Yeah, I am. Yeah, there is a lot of. I'm looking up statute right here. Here's a statutory bond. Oh, I'm trying to find it.
All right. So
yeah,
Mary,
go ahead and ask the next one there.
Mary.
Hey, darling and darling. Great to hear you again, Chris. My foreclosure situation, Wells Fargo, like that lady before, kept my 1099As, never returned them, put me in foreclosure, sent me an apologize letter with a nice check, but I'm being evicted as of October 26th. So I went to the federal court, and put charges against the judges in the state court. And I just got a letter today from one of the attorney general for the state of Wisconsin withdrawing from representing the one judge. I think I'm making a little traction here, maybe. Yeah, today I also filed with the Civil Rights Division, which I'm tonight after this call going to be forwarding the information to the FBI for mortgage ID theft, criminal trespassing, and lack of due process because my 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, and 14th Amendment rights have been violated. Yeah. That's all.
All right. Come back and let us know how it went.
Yeah. I was excited. Well, and I've had a couple judges walk off the bench, and a couple of the chief judge retired. So I'm not boasting, but I'm thinking I'm making. I'm not doing the whole happy dance, just a couple steps. But I'm really trying to stop this eviction as of October 26th. So we'll see.
I hope it works out for you. I do. I really hope it works out.
All right, Mary. Yeah. Thank you.
Thanks. Be blessed.
All right, Chris. So, wow, it's been 2 hours. You guys, be sure to support us at youhavetheright.com. We got a lot of good stuff there. We're coming out with more, and we may actually have a foreclosure course coming up here real soon.
That'd be great.
Yeah. Great. Yeah, I've got a guy that's been beating these guys for quite a bit, and he may be coming on board to give a course. So, Chris, are we on for next week? Is that something you can do?
I'll have to check back.
Okay. All right, no problem.
I'm not close to my date book here yet. I got to see what's going on. I got so much stuff going on this month. It's crazy. But we'll shoot for it. We'll try and shoot for it. Y'all have a blessed night.
All right, everybody. Thank you for joining us. Bye-bye. Good night.